Pilots have an age limit and they have a mandatory retirement? A rabbit gets sucked into an engine? The flight attendant no one wants to fly with. All this next on Cabin Pressure with Sean and G.
Prepare for takeoff.
Hey everyone, this is Cabin Pressure.
What is up?
Oh, that was lame. I was expecting this big opening.
I know you were.
This big freaking opening every week, this big ass opening, and then all of a sudden, what is up?
Brah. That's what my nephew always says, brah.
You're killing me, man. I was expecting this big ass opening and then nothing.
No, man.
Just fell off the shelf on that one.
No,
What's been going on?
Oh, here, first of all, the weather's breaking, golf's in the air right now. So everybody's like ready to get out there. So the wife and I just went out and did some golfing today. Actually, I suck and she's great as usual.
I was waiting for that one. I already knew that, but
I'm going to say it myself first before you say it.
Oh, I'm still going to say it because he's not exactly Happy Gilmore over there.
No, I can play, but today was not it's that first round rough to start, and it was wet out there, man. It was like sloppy wet. My pans have mud on them and everything.
So here comes the excuses, right? Now,
No,
okay, I know it was sloppy wet. The course was this, that was it. Okay, how did Carol shoot?
Carol was good. She's always good.
Yeah, same course.
Same course.
Oh, okay, all right. That's kind of ironic,
but she hit it less than me.
Yeah, well.
Which is the point.
Especially in that game, right?
Exactly. But anyways, the other thing that's going on on a little bit of a serious note is that this week my freaking doctor, I have to every 3 months, I'm on this heart medication. I got these heart problems and stuff. And my doctor's like, I have to get a EKG and a blood test and all this stuff because of this medication I'm on. And he pulled me off of it. And he's like, sorry, it's not working anymore. So now I'm back into having PVCs, if you know what PVCs are, which is basically extra heartbeats. And how they fix that is one, they can do with medication. And two, the second part is you can do a heart surgery, which is an ablation. And I've already had one. And now they're like, you're going to have another one. So the big suck happening right now.
So when is that going to happen?
That's to be determined. But I'm not looking forward to this whole situation.
So until then, no medication?
No medication for the heart or anything because it's not working. So it's like, that medication I was doing every 12 hours I had to do it. It was a pain in the ass, but it was helping. But then evidently it just stopped working. So I went to the doctor today for my knee. And this morning, and they try to take a heart blood pressure for you.
Yeah.
And this condition I have right now, those machines won't work, so they can't take my blood pressure. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. But so that's a happy note. What's happening right now?
But what do you notice in that though? When you're talking about do you notice anything?
No, the crazy thing is that I rarely have any symptoms with it, comes along with it. I'm sitting here and I'm having them right now. And I have a monitor over here on my desk that I can do an EKG myself, that cardio mobile. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's that thing that they have them in your billfold types, and then they have ones that are higher tech that does 6-point leads and stuff like that. But I can do an EKG just sitting there, and I could show you I have PVCs going on right now, but I can't feel anything. So it's not like a heart. This isn't a heart condition where you're like, oh, I'm grabbing my chest and Ethel. Yeah. Here I come. I'm coming, Ethel. No. It's nothing like that. It's just literally I'm just having these extra heartbeats, but it's, to explain it a little further, is it doesn't pump the heart enough. So my normal beats are happening, and then this PVC is like a squeeze. So instead of a full heartbeat, it's just like a squeeze. So what happens is you're having not enough blood flow and oxygen going through your body and stuff like that. So symptoms can happen from that. But with me, I'm not really. I get winded, I get tired sometimes, but I'm always damn tired.
Well, on a lighter note, you just realize this. I will shock your ass if you need it. I will. I mean, brother, I will put them damn things on you in shock. Even if it says no shock is needed, my ass is going to shock you.
Right.
I'll shock them things right back in mine.
For volunteering to do that.
Hey, that's what a brother is for, man. I'm gonna jump right in there. It says no shock is needed. I'm punching. Bullshit. I'm hitting that damn thing. That shock's needed on his ass.
He needs it. Boof.
No, but you got to get that shit taken care of.
Yeah, it's something I'm not looking forward to. The first one was not a fun operation. It was 6.5 hours on my back, awake. Having heart surgery when you're awake.
I remember when you told me about that. And you're all hooked up to all these leads
and probes all over the front of you, the back of you. It takes them over an hour just to hook you up with all the leads.
Will they let me come in and take a picture?
I wish. That'd be so cool. In fact, if the next time I do it, I'm going to have them take a picture. Cool. For sure. I'm like, listen, I need a picture. I'm a photographer. I want a picture of me probed up.
Yeah. I want to come in and take that picture.
Yeah. Anyways, but so I got all that going on and, just normal life, getting through, doing the stuff that we get to do every day. Yeah. What about you, man?
Same thing. Out flying, was doing a lot of the Florida stuff. Get caught up in that this time of year, all the time. Florida Panhandle. It's just all the time. We get boarded up, get ready to push back, get ready to go. What? Florida Panhandle, man. Weather up there, Jacksonville Center shuts that shit down in a heartbeat.
I know. I'm not looking forward to. I'm getting ready to come back to flying here May 1, and I'm not looking forward to it.
All you hear is when you call up and talk to the cockpit is we're trying to find a reroute because, Jacksonville Center blocked this. So we have to go all the way around the Gulf, or we have to go up the other side of the ocean to come around, the East Coast all the way back into Ohio. Pain in the ass.
Well, and we have the problem also of the different cockpits that we got going on there. So some of them are experienced and plan and understand what's going on and throw that extra gas on no matter what the company says. And they can not do the diversions that we have to do. And, but every now and then we get those. And even if you plan, you still going to have to divert sometimes. Carol, my wife, had to do that the other day. Even though they planned, they had to divert. Yeah. And you were with them, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
I'm actually with Carol more on a plane than your ass will ever be.
Good.
But anyways,
this is a very good thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Probably for her too. But anyway, I was in St. Louis the other day. Right. 81 degrees. We pulled in there. It was probably about 4:00 in the afternoon. Like 81 degrees. 81
degrees, man. And tomorrow here in Northeast Ohio, it's supposed to be like in the high. It's almost supposed to be like 90. Really? 80. I think it's predicted at like 89 degrees tomorrow.
It was really nice.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I hadn't been to St. Louis for a long time.
Yeah, St. Louis is a cool city.
Yeah, I have not been there for a long time. The hotel's real quick around right around the corner, so that was good. But yeah, just doing a lot of the Florida stuff, and got the first cut of the year on my lawn, and it was freezing outside yesterday.
Dude, it was cold.
It was cold.
And you were cutting lawn?
I was cutting lawn. I was out there edging my rocks in the front of the property. I did a lot of shit, man. I was done, I think, around 8:30 at night.
You know what happened with me yesterday? I was watching my lawnmower guy do it. He looked cold. Yeah,
but I already knew that was happening.
Kind of sucked to be.
I seen him as I was coming in. I'm like, oh, look at Sean's grass looks really nice. I already know they did it.
They do an excellent job.
Yeah, whatever. You're killing me, man.
Hey, we all make choices, right?
See, your choice was you married a captain.
Right. Well, she wasn't captain when I married her. That's for damn
she is now. It doesn't matter what she was. It is she is now.
I had vision when I met her. She would be captain. Put it this way:
he plays on a golf course. I'm the guy shagging balls on the golf course. That's bullshit.
Actually, I think you're the guy in the golf range picking up the balls in a little caged little.
You are so wrong. I do know where you live. I know where you live, brother.
Anyways, hey, you know what? We've got a guest today, and we brought back John, the pilot.
John the pilot.
John the pilot. He's back here to come on the show with us again because we thought, hey, there was a lot of questions that we had left to ask John, and the conversation was so interesting. Like just the whole, being a pilot and all that stuff. I know there was other people that had already talked to me about our episode. Said, hey, that was a super interesting episode. You should have more guests on, and so we're trying to do that. But John is back here.
But what I love about having him on the show, though, is that we always talk about this, too, is that you get a perspective from a pilot. And John's one of the best people that do that because he's in the industry for such a long time.
Yeah. So, John, welcome back to our show.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm thrilled to be back. You made my family think I was something else,
Yeah. So, like the newspaper has like the experts sit in and stuff like that. We're going to be like pulling you back when we have stories. There's something happened. We've got John, the expert.
John, the pilot.
Do I have to put on like a real serious face? And,
They can't see your face on
Kind of like that, though.
So it's okay.
Hey, welcome, John the pilot.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like Dear Ann or Dear whatever it was, Dear Abby.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Dear Abby.
We got a whole new section of the show.
Well, you guys, it was a thrill for me the first time to even watch how you guys do this stuff. And you're just naturals at it.
Well, it takes a little bit of a practice and everything, but we're trying to get better.
We're a work in progress, right?
A constant work. But anyways, hey, John, one of the questions that we didn't ask you last time you were on here was like, how long have you been flying? Like, or how long, two parts to that. One, commercially, how long was your career? And total in life, how long have you been flying?
So I will turn 66 in July.
All right.
And I soloed when I was 15. So if I do my math right, it'll be 51 years.
51 years of flying. Total flying. And so then like as a career and having it as a job, how many years was that?
Airline wise was 39 years.
39 years.
Prior to that, I flew corporately and did some other commercial work for about 3 or 4 other years. So about 43 years.
43 years. So like in pilots, when I'm thinking about like, there's this like graduated like life of a pilot. Like you kind of like start off real small, of course, right? That little private plane. And then you kind of like keep building up bigger planes and all that stuff, bigger airlines, bigger jobs, all that stuff, bigger responsibilities. So like, how many of those jobs did you have before you got into commercial aviation, like into the mainline commercial aviation, not commuters that are corporate?
Right. Well, let's think about it. I mean, the progression for me was you went out and you got your private license, and then you got your commercial, your instrument, and then you get a CFI because that way you'd be able to go build time, learn a lot, just trying to teach it to other people.
Yeah. So CFI, you're a certified flight instructor, right?
And then there's varying degrees of that. You have the regular flight instructor. You can get an instrument flight instructor rating where you can teach instruments, and then you get a multi-engine rating. So once you do that, you're trying to build time. And the whole idea, particularly earlier on, like in my career, insurance was always a big deal. You had to have time in different types of airplanes. You had to have experience to be able to get insured to get a job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it really made it kind of tough. And so you just jump through every hoop that you could. And the more you flight instruct, like in multi-engine was the big thing to get multi-engine time, because obviously going into a corporate position to multi-engine airplane. So you need the experience to even be considered.
You know what? Insurance is something that I would not have ever even thought about in pilots. Like I had to be insured.
Well, it's that way, particularly in general aviation when you're kind of coming up through the ranks.
Okay.
Yeah. And so once I got that opportunity, in order to build times, I jumped through all kinds of hoops. I mean, I can remember flight instructing and then driving down to Dover, because there was a company down there that owned a company in Medina that they would fly their turboprop airplane back and forth. Really quick hop. And I knew the pilot, and I said, hey, what's the chance I could come with you, get some experience? And he said, yeah, sure. So I'd flight instruct in the morning, run down, fly up with them, fly back with them, drive back, flight instruct some more, go back when he's going to pick the people up. And, you do stuff like that in order to kind of get
build
some
that
experience,
time, right? Get the experience and all that.
And
stuff.
then we talked about it last time. Everybody needs a break, and I got that break with the company in the Akron area initially that took a chance on me. And then it's kind of just smooth sailing. Not smooth sailing. I mean, there's the ups and downs of aviation that we've all been through.
Sure.
And so I was fortunate. The carrier that I went with went through ups and downs, but it didn't ever furlough me.
Yeah.
So
I have lots of friends that are pilots that are like, they've like the whole entire company shuts down, right?
Right.
Like that happened after 9/11. That happened after all these different situations during the economic turns of the country and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, to have that happen and all those fluctuations. And like, I have a lot of flight attendant friends that went out and got their license and started to, they wanted to become pilots and do a career of it and all that stuff. But then that was right before 9/11 hit. And 9/11 kind of like just decimated the whole entire, industry. And people don't realize that there was a lot of people that, they had aspirations in doing things, but the opportunities just became so slim.
Right. And then compounding on that, I think, and it's just personal opinion, but they made the job so bad for people. If you remember,
right.
They were always looking for pay cuts, bankruptcies, all this stuff. That everybody started looking at that job going, well, why would I make an investment to get that job when now they've knocked the pay down to a point that it's like, there's no return on your investment.
Like my example, the flight attendant friends I had, they were making more money as flight attendants.
Right.
And they couldn't fly. So if they went to fly, they would literally be cutting their pay in half.
Right.
And so they weren't incentivized to like make that transition over. So it was even a level transition.
And so consequently, they made a shortage of pilots, which is where we find ourselves now industry wide. They're trying to come up with people and it's kind of a tough thing. Yeah. So.
It's interesting. I mean, I think that when you talk about pilots and stuff, another aspect of it is that to me, pilots one of the career, and I don't know any other thing off the top of my head that does this, but it's one of the only careers out there that has this age discrimination happening right with it. I mean, that's exactly what it's called. It's age discrimination. That it's an industry that has very, very old, antiquated rules that are being applied to today's system, and the health and wellness of us. It's lengthening. Back in the day, maybe in the 50s, people didn't live to be 100. People didn't work to be, beyond 60, 50 at that point. But so these rules are for the people that don't understand. That's what I'm talking about, is that the rule is that pilots can only fly commercially up to 65 in commercial aviation. And you'd have to tell me what part rule is that, FAR part?
Right. It's just a mandatory retirement age of 65 to fly for an air carrier.
But so air carriers that are flying under part what
121.
121.
I don't believe it applies to 135. But,
135. So that's the charter,
right.
Executive jets,
and you can fly for corporations fly under part 91, which is just kind of the same general aviation rules. Like if you guys went out and grabbed an airplane and learned to fly and flew around,
sure,
same rules those airplanes operate under. So technically a guy can fly with them until whenever, whatever that as long as they can comfortable with. Yeah.
As long as they can pass their medical and then the things that you guys have to do on a regular basis to keep your FAA certification, which is how I think it should be everywhere. Like, I don't really get these part things, there shouldn't be a difference between corporate flying and commercial aviation, as far as I'm concerned, as far as can I do this job or can't I do this job? I think it's a really, sometime in history, I hope someday that they will wipe that away and say, listen, if you can do these X, Y, and Z and pass the medical, you can fly.
But something, going to that, to talk about that with the medical though, I think that once you get to 65, now John's in great shape. Okay.
Right.
But I think there should be a more extensive medical for you to, if you choose to go on, I believe that then you should be able to go on too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the medical, it could be anything, whatever they want to change it to.
Right.
But don't discriminate because of age.
No, I
because
totally
your
agree.
faculties don't shut off at 65.
Yeah, because we're sitting next to one of the best pilots I've ever flown with, and I'm telling you that in at 65, I take this man in the cockpit any day.
Right. I mean, right now, John could fly the plane.
Absolutely.
No problems.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it's like. Age shouldn't be they're discriminating because of age.
Absolutely.
And it's just an old antiquated rule. It's kind of like this, like the time change right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys stand on it, but I hate the time change. I don't, but it's an old rule that happened and it's still in place today.
Right.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I obviously I resigned myself to the fact I couldn't change it, but I agree because when you think about it, we go through all kinds of. I had to do a physical every 6 months. You get an EKG once a year, and I have checks every 9 months. Right. So supposedly, if I'm starting to diminish, somebody would notice something. Not only that, you're flying with somebody else and everyone, the crew's going to notice if hey, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, exactly. Cognitive test or something like that. But,
but let them have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's
I agree.
My point is I like this industry. A lot of people don't understand that we have a shortage right now of pilots industry wide because one, the commercial airline business is expanding and more people are traveling and we just, we're just a different world now. And so as that growth is happening, we're kind of constraining ourselves from that growth because of these old antiquated rules.
Right.
I mean, I don't, that's just my personal opinion. I think it's a terrible, I'm surprised that I know there's different standpoints from the union standpoints to personal standpoints to the government and all this stuff. They all have different opinions about what should be happening and stuff. And I know that comes up, but I just thought it's interesting. It's an interesting topic to talk about and stuff.
No, it really is. And I agree with you, everything you said about it. I just think that it's silly.
Yeah, it's silly.
A perfect example.
You can't do it.
Yeah, perfect example. How long were you on the 7-3?
Oh, gosh, too many years. Let's see. 15 years of my career.
15 years of your career. And like we had said before, you had flown with Chris. Both of you guys know that plane like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, that will tell you the experience over the age any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I mean, it's the same for us. So for a flight attendant, we don't have age restrictions.
Right.
I mean, there's some flight attendants we've been flying with that don't need to have their ass on a plane for sure. They need to retire. They need to find something else to do. Yep. But that's a whole nother subject. But at the same time, pilots should have that, option. That's how I feel.
Totally agree.
And I wish I'm very surprised in this today's world where they're so litigious how you say that? Like the legal, whatever, right. That somebody hasn't finally just said enough's enough. I'm suing. I'm going to sue the government. This is age discrimination,
Right. Interesting enough, they did have a bunch of guys. I actually knew two of them just through the course of my career that were petitioning the FAA to do that. And it looked like, prior to last summer that maybe something was going to happen, but the union, for whatever reason, doesn't want it. And I don't know why. But.
Yeah. It's a very interesting dynamic when you start talking about the whole subject of that, because there's these different viewpoints, and the union has this, unions usually want more people to have more jobs, but for some reason, the pilot unions seem like they want the younger pilots to be able to have that opportunity. So this is kind of like a system that's in place already, and they're set in their ways, kind of like the flush the old and get in the new type of thing, which I understand that aspect of it. But at the same time, there's so many jobs needed right now. Like there's so many pilots needed, like you were saying,
it's too bad, because I know quite a few guys that are about my age that have been retiring, and it's like they're all quite capable. And like Gary says, I mean, if you want some kind of a check and balance, I mean, I can't reiterate the fact that when you deal as a crew, as a team, when you're flying the airplane, that there's all kinds of checks just right there at that level. you know.
Right.
It's just experience. I mean, as a crew member, we're sitting in the back of the plane. I'll tell you this 1,000 times over. We get some of the craziest ass turbulence coming into Cleveland. We get crosswinds, everything. And it would not. I've said this already. You've been gone a few months, and I've already said, you know, when we're coming in, we're getting our ass tossed all around the back of that thing. And I used to say all the time, never did I think twice about it. When you and Chris are up in the cockpit, never even worried about it. Never did. Yeah. I mean, I truthfully never did. But, you know, a lot of these young guns, you just don't, I mean, we don't know. I mean, and nothing against them, but, you know, there's something to be said for experience. And when you, exactly what you said, Sean, is age discrimination. And if these guys pass the medical and they still want to fly, should be able to fly.
Yeah.
Safety is always first, right? That's what they said.
Right. And if you're passing everything, do it.
And I understand a lot of guys in with the union about moving up, but listen, most of these guys, and where a lot of people don't understand, years ago to move up from a first officer to a captain, it took you sometimes like 10 to 12 years just to make that upgrade.
Right.
Now it's like a year.
It's even less because now they have situations, and we're talking about, now we're getting into that growth of airlines and availability of aviation. Like we are growing, these companies are growing so fast. We're getting into these like economic like an example is our company has a base in San Fran, and they want to expand that. And the problem with that is that it's an economic thing, right? You can't afford to live there. You can't hire enough people to stay there. Every time they put people there, but they still want to grow that market and make it bigger. But the pilots, even at their entry salary, can't afford to be there. So you got to figure out this whole dynamics of like, how are you going to like support this system and get this growth to happen with, you know, if you don't have the pilots willing or the employees willing to go to those markets. Right.
Yep.
So it's an interesting situation that's happening out there that I know many of our listeners probably don't understand some of the dynamics of the airline industry, but these are some of the problems that are out there that we're kind of like internally inside the world of aviation that we deal with and talk about as flight attendants and pilots and stuff. But hey, John, how many different aircrafts over your career have you flown?
So you gave me a heads up on some of the things you wanted to talk about. So I had to go back through. I sat down and I actually started listing them all. And I think I got the majority of them. It was 53.
53 different
types. Yeah. Holy crap.
That is a lot of aircraft.
That's a lot of airplanes.
I mean, I don't think I've flown 53 different classes.
Let me 53 different models
of airplanes. Okay. So you broke it down to like so 7.3 has like 5 different models.
And I didn't count that. I just went 7.3, but yeah, they do. but mainly it's airplanes that were different.
And that's an interesting like aspect of pilots too. Like I think that people don't understand. Like if I was a bus driver, I'm driving this one type of bus, right? Or if I'm a truck driver, I'm driving this one type of bus, and I have a license to drive that type of bus. As a pilot, you get certified on or type rated on a certain type of plane, right? Mm-hmm. And 7.3 is a wild example of like how many different models that once you're type rated, you can fly all of them, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then the configurations are much different, right?
Oh, yep.
Talk to that.
Yeah, so technically as the 7.3 type rating, you could fly a 737-100. I don't think there's any in existence anymore. But
we flew them.
Those were the junk jets. Remember those?
We flew them.
We talk about those all the time.
Torpedo engines on the side.
737-100, 200s, and junk jets.
And that's the aircraft I met my wife on.
No kidding.
Right.
Yeah. So you could do the 1s, the 2s, and then you go into the 3s, 4s, 5s.
Right.
Then you go to the NGs, and you had the 800 series. And then you went to the 900, and then you went to 900 ER, and then they introduced the Max. Right? And so you have the Max 8 and the Max 9. And then we have different configurations. Well, my previous employer, your employer, because during the whole COVID thing, people deferred their deliveries, and they actually stepped up and they took a bunch of deliveries. So we have airplanes that are slight different configurations that we fly to.
So from company to company, a 737 inside the cockpit is configured different from company to company, correct?
Yes.
And so that's another thing people don't understand with flying. Like I know one company right now that use HUDs. And, you know, they fly HUDs all a day, which is heads up displays, which we are now having those in our cars and stuff like that, which I love my HUD. And, yeah, so they're flying those things like all, you know, that in these different companies, but our company chose not to have them. And so we don't fly with them in our company, but you get all these different configurations. And especially when you merge companies in the airline business, you get all these different planes of different configurations, interiors, you know, exteriors and all this stuff. And then they reconfigure them to their standards, right?
Right.
Which is an interesting aspect of the business that people don't understand. And in doing that, we have to all be type rated on those planes.
Right.
Well,
you guys are multifaceted because you can go the entire fleet.
Right.
You know, you guys have to deal with, at least from our perspective, it is just, you know, the fleet.
Right. I mean, there's no plane in our company that a flight attendant can't touch. We're trained on every plane.
Everything.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter where each system, the safety systems on each planes. So just like all the different types of 737s you have, we're trained to be on all those different types of planes, which is a challenge. And you don't have to memorize it, people. Because if I did, wouldn't be employed here.
You know, it's funny. I was sitting there thinking, when you started naming them off, all the 737s, how long I've been here, and I've actually flown every one of those planes.
Me
too.
too.
My God. I would go back to the DC. I was sitting there thinking of the DC-910, the little snub nose plane. I mean, do you ever remember that one?
They had the 10s, the 30s, the 50s, the 80s, like the McDonnell Douglas had all those different.
Airbuses, all the Airbuses. Remember back in the day with the Airbuses, they used to, because everything was Boeing, right? So the Airbus would always break down somewhere. They used to carry a lot of the parts in the belly.
Yeah,
and and a lot of times you would land somewhere, and the maintenance guy wouldn't be certified to work on an Airbus. And you're just gonna get canceled right there. You knew it was done. It was dead in the water.
Yeah, we used to call it the scare bus.
Scare bus.
Yeah, I mean that was the nickname in the previous company we worked for. But it was like, it was. We didn't have a good history with that as far as the Airbus. And I know some companies, you know, that's the only plane they fly. But there's different models of the Airbuses too, as well. And I'm not so familiar with the Airbus because we've flown so much Boeing in our lifetime. But they've got all the different levels too.
But back then we just didn't have a lot of Airbus. We had the 737s.
I stayed away from them.
Yeah, we had a lot of the Boeing. So it was just a maintenance nightmare back then.
Yeah,
maintenance nightmare.
Yeah, there's other aspects to that plane too that we won't go into right now. But why we stayed away from him. But anyways, John, let's talk about this. What was one of the most fun experiences that you had in your career? Like something, it doesn't have to be within the airline, like out of all that flying that you just talked about, like what was one of the most spectacular events that you've had with this that was just like, this is amazing because I'm a pilot and I'm doing this?
Interesting question. In thinking about that, this is going to be probably pretty boring, but the one that stuck out in my mind was flying 737s and 5s. Mm-hmm. Had a layover in where do they do the Rapid City, South Dakota.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was trying to think of the Harley thing. I think that's near the Black Hills.
Sturgis?
Sturgis is up there.
So we were laying over there, and the hotel lobby actually had a Christmas tree with ornaments on it with little kids' names, right?
Right.
And so I was a first officer at the time, and the captain, the whole crew, we were all staying together. So we got to rent a car, and we went to the mall, and we all fulfilled somebody's, dreams on there.
Oh, so this was like a gift tree.
Yeah, and it left me with probably one of the most memorable times. We all went out as a crew and had dinner and stuff and had fun, but that was the most memorable part. I mean, I know that sounds sad.
That's a perfect story. I mean, that's one of the experiences like that I enjoy as this career for is that all the different bonding experiences that we get with the crew members and all the different crew members we get to meet, because we're not always flying with the same, we do typically in this base that we're in right now, because it's pretty small and depending on what type of flying you do. But early in your career, you're moving about the country all over because you just don't have a choice. They're kind of sending you and you go. And it doesn't matter if you're a pilot or a flight attendant. That's the echelon of your carear, right?
Right.
Spend a lot of holidays together.
Yeah, a lot of holidays we spent together.
Denny's.
Yeah, a lot of restaurants together and eating meals together, but that's a perfect story.
And then secondarily was I was new within my first year. I was a DC-8 flight engineer. Remember DC-8?
Wow, we just took it way back there,
right back to the DC-8.
So my wife was an Eastern flight attendant at the time, and so we were both kind of out there on a trip. We're doing late night to the West Coast, and I mentioned to the crew, I said, I heard an Eastern flight check on, and I go, I think that's the one my wife's on.
Oh, that's cool.
They go, really? And yeah. So next thing I know, the co-pilot goes, hey, Eastern. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, our engineer thinks his wife's on your flight. What's her name? Tells him. They go,
right.
Next thing I know, we're sitting there, and I hear my wife's voice on ATC going, hi, John.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I'm like going, but I'm on probation thinking,
yeah, what are they doing? We're not even supposed to be chattering. This isn't like walkie-talkies.
Right. So I chatted a little bit, and then next thing you know, the ATC guys goes, well, I hate to break you guys up, but
we got to get back to business.
To one of us.
You're supposed to fly.
So those were two of my really fun times.
Those experiences and like all these like little teeny things that happen in our careers are just spectacular. Like one that comes to mind to me is like, how one thing that we hate about this business is the irregularities of it that we get, like, we think that we're going to fly down to Florida, and next thing you know, we're laying over in San Francisco, like those things happen constantly. And I had an event like that where, it was a total shit show across the whole nation. Weather was bad. Planes were diverting, things were changing, and both my wife and I were flying, and we both ended up in the same city, and it was unscheduled.
Unbelievable.
So we both end up staying in San Francisco on the same night, diverting, totally unscheduled, and got to stay a night there with my wife. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing, the small nuanced things that just stick in your mind?
Yeah. Like I can remember that layover, like details of this. The Game of Thrones, those big, what do they call them? Werewolves or merwolves or something. Anyway, these giant dogs that they made like these wolves in the show. And there was a lady that actually lived in this hotel out in San Francisco. She's been living there for like, I don't know how long. Have you met her?
I did.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
I know. Yeah. And two big, what were those dogs she had?
One was, his name was like Zeus or something like that. And
was it like an Irish wolfhound or something?
No. These, I can't, I'll have to look it up, but I'm sure some of the listeners are like yelling out right now, "That's this!" But, but I mean, I'm talking. This dog is massive, and they look like giant wolves. That's what they look like. But friendliest dog you'd ever meet.
They were, and that's amazing because we chatted with her one day, waiting for the van to go back to doing all night.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people. We would have that layover in San Fran, and she lived it in the top floor of that hotel. And she's been there for like, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
And it's crazy. The FO is sitting there going, let's figure the math out on this. And it actually made sense versus the real estate out there.
Right. And she was into real estate, the lady, and everything. But these are the weird encounters and the people that we meet along our journeys of our career. But that's one thing that I remembered about it.
John, the worst experience that you had with a flight attendant, and not the one directly across from you. Smart ass.
or the one next to you. You'd exclude those stories.
No, but okay, what was the worst experience that you had with a flight attendant?
So I I had to think about this question too, because most of the time I just get along with everybody, and particularly in the latter years of my life, I was always flying with you guys or people that I knew. And
right. But we're some quirky crowds.
Oh, for sure.
Like
everybody's just,
you're not quirky at all. Not even a little bit.
No,
not Mr. Quirky over here, John. Go ahead. What was your word?
Well, I was flying Europe at the time. And so we go, the two first officers, they'd augment the crew going there for time. There'd be two co-pilots and a captain. So we're walking out to the airplane and the flight attendants are there and they've got like an extension cord running down into the 67 to do some cleaning. Well, this lead flight attendant goes, nobody go on board because it's dangerous. This cord running down the thing. And so I look at the two.
It's dangerous because of the cord.
I look at the two co-pilots. They look at me and like,
what?
So we go down and, we start doing our stuff, and finally they come down. And she was just a very interesting person, to deal with. And everything was a problem, everything. And it got to the point we were joking about it. All right, guys, how long till we get another call from the back? And we had it down to like one guy was going, I'm saying about 3 minutes, and literally we were getting calls from the back every 5 minutes. And it was just goofball stuff. I mean, you guys would.
Yeah.
John, we just talked about our 1%ers. Yeah. We just talked about them. The crazy ass people that nobody wants to see on an airplane. And you just wonder where they came from.
So we finally almost get to London. And then at one time, I forget the exact scenario. Something happened in the cabin. And it was one of those rare flights where we had federal air marshals on board. Yeah, and you know how it's kind of random, but we know as a crew when they're on, when they're not. And it's like the last thing you want to do is expose these guys, right?
Right.
So she calls up and goes, well, we're having this problem. And I've told the FAMs they need to sit by the door and this and that. So she's totally exposed these guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Now. And I'm sitting there going,
a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah.
So we get on the ground in London. I'm so happy it's over. And of course, then I find out we've got them going back.
Let's do it again.
Oh, my gosh. So I get on the elevator and the door opens back up and two of the younger flight attendants come in and go. Door closes. They go, well, what'd you think of flying with so-and-so? And I said, well, it was definitely different. And, they go, yeah, you know why? Because she did complain when she first got on. She said, well, the lead flight attendant called in sick, and so now I'm here,
Sure.
They both said, you know why that she called in sick? And no, she actually came to work, saw that this person was on the flight and said,
bye.
Called in sick. I'm going home.
She already knew those two flights, what it was going to be like. She's
that's what we do when we go to pick a trip up. We look at the crew. Yeah. Oh, hell no. No, ain't worth the money. Is not worth the money.
So all the way home, we're joking again about, all right, how long? And on the taxi out, ding, she had some big problem, and then we're flight logging. And finally, one of the one first officer, it was a lot like Sean. Actually, he had just a great sense of humor, and he was a lot of dry wit to him.
Sure.
And she called again, and I just said, "Would you take that?" And so he picks it up, and she goes, "Well, I just want you to know, we just had a passenger and so throw up." And without batting an eye, the guy goes, "Well, what color is the vomit?" And she goes, what? He goes, well, what color is the vomit? He goes, the company now wants us to report what color the vomit is.
That is a perfect comeback.
And she hung up.
Yeah.
We didn't hear from her anymore, so she might have got the message, but I was just like, but that was probably.
What color is the vomit and what's it smell like?
Yeah.
We need a deep description of the smell.
But that was it. I mean, you know how we all had the people that were kind of annoying but you just kind of dealt with them.
All these years of flying, brother, that there's a lot more than that. But that was a funny one. Okay, let's talk about the most challenging situation that you've ever faced flying.
Airlines or just
anytime? Anytime being a pilot.
Probably generalized. It's just kind of the weather aspect of things is probably it can get kind of exciting, particularly if you're trying to like beat a front end to an airport or something, and you're always changing your mind and zigging and zagging. And you probably hear from Carol all the time trying to.
Well, Mother Nature, she has her own plan, and you're just a part of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But, I do remember as a young pilot when I was once again talking about building time, flew a guy, he owned his own plane, but flew him and a couple people over to Milwaukee Airport. And then coming out, the weather wasn't looking good. Lots of thunderstorms around the lakes. And you're talking about a small plane, no radar, no nothing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we can get this done. The attitude. So there I am at night, single engine, over the lake with thunderstorms. And I just remember thinking to myself at one point, what have you gotten yourself into?
How did I get to this situation?
And it was pretty challenging, just the weather, because it was a terrible ride, a lot of rain, and when you're in a small airplane, when you get into, even in the jets, if you get into a lot of you stay away from the weather, but you'll get into static areas where the radios start kind of going.
Oh yeah.
And so I just remember being in that small plane and going, holy cow, I was sweating like that. And so that was probably the most exciting. And I think we touched on it before too. With the airlines, I always felt pretty prepared for everything. And as that experience level as you go.
Exactly.
You just keep yourself out of problem.
Right. Yeah. You learn, it's just like we do with age, right? We become more conservative over age and a little bit not taking so many risks with our lives.
Exactly.
Right. And
so I wish I had one of those, there I was stories for you, but I really don't.
There it was coming in at a bank of 25. Like whatever.
Yeah.
We say all the time the best flight is boring and uneventful.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in this industry, boring and uneventful is the best flight to have. Now, you can have all those YouTube videos you want. Go ahead and have them. I don't want them. I'll take the boring and uneventful. But here's a question for you. Have you ever, has a bird ever chased the plane or had some kind of wildlife encounter that happened on when you were flying?
Or funny.
Birds are constant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're always dealing with birds, and you hope you miss them half the time because there's not a lot of stuff you can do. I mean, you sit there, and it's not like you can't
just weave down them.
Right. I mean, you're kind of committed to the direction you're going. You try to clear the area, like Florida. We always early in my career, I found running the radar messes with their heads a little bit. Supposedly there was some theory about it because I went to some radar class as a corporate pilot. And so I just always tried to do that. But you'd hit them, Where's it we go into all the time? It seems like we always hit birds. Panama, right? Because they've got you down Panama City. They keep you low over the bay. Right. And then you come in and it seems like every time I went down there, we hit birds.
Yeah. Bird strikes. I mean, we've all been on planes with bird strikes.
Right.
It seems like it's.
But as far as that, with the airlines, no, I haven't hit any of the bigger animals. Yeah. With a small plane, even my own plane.
Right.
One night landing down at the airport down here, and I caught movement out of the left side, and there's a deer pacing us. And I was like, oh, no, don't come in the front, So I'm
deer's hopping down the runway and you're trying to
right
take
on
off?
the side. And I was just landing. And so once I caught him, I was like, oh, no, don't. And he looked like, how they zig and zag.
You don't know which way a freaking deer is going.
Please don't come this way, because my partners would love a new prop. And
It's amazing how much those deers can do damage to your vehicle of any sort. Like, it doesn't take real large deer to tear your car or plane up,
No, we did hit one night going out of Orlando. It was probably I was a 7.5 first officer. Took off at night, and I used to constantly, you guys would come up with the counts, and I'd always sit there back in the old days when we did counts.
Sure.
And I would write them all down. So I knew, if we had a problem, I knew it. Well, it was like the last leg, all we were doing was Orlando over to Fort Myers. Mm-hmm. And we took off, went through an overcast. We were just accelerating, and suddenly we got this huge bang and a surge in one of the engines, and we were like, what in the world?
Right.
And we got dings from the back, and they're going, hey, we're filling with smoke,
Oh, wow.
And we're like, what in the world? And it sounded to us like it was just right behind us that it happened. So we happened to have a jump seater. Captain sent him back to go kind of check on things. We told Orlando we had to come back, and we could not figure it out. And at one point, the jump seater wasn't coming back. We were getting another ding from the aft again going, it's really filling with smoke back here. And we're like, all right, we're on our way back in,
Sure.
And we come in, and it turned out we had hit some geese. And at the time, in retrospect, you sit there and go, we should have known that's what it was. But it was just one of those things that we hit them right on the radome, and we put 2 through the right engine. And so it did that little burp thing, but they were all operating after that just fine.
Sure.
So,
it's amazing.
And then the smoke was we obviously were cooking them. As they go through the.
It wasn't Christmas time, right?
Right. Not
this
the
isn't like Christmas goose,
right.
I'm sitting there thinking, cooking them. That damn thing went right through there. There wasn't shit cooking in there, John.
Chop suey goose.
There's nothing but feathers on the side of that thing.
Right.
And we came back, and the funniest part of that was after we got back to the gate, and then we obviously canceled, and we went to the hotel, and we had passengers on the van with us,
Sure.
And they're all sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, were you guys the crew?" And we go, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, it was so, nervous and stuff." And I said, "Yeah, but didn't you hear our announcements? We made announcements." And said, "No, it's not." And they just said, "We didn't believe you."
You should have told me you were serving geese.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, how many airlines and, how many planes out there on a daily basis hit wildlife? I mean, it's unbelievable. The, like PETA's out here probably like screaming about, planes and stuff, like how much we like take care of like so many bird populations and stuff.
And I feel bad. I don't like him, but it's just like, it's almost unavoidable.
I live on a golf course. You can take out as many gooses as you want.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get PETA. Now you're getting PETA after us.
Right. It was like, ugh, yikes. But hey, so here's we're going to ask one last question here because we're running up on time here. But I just wanted to know, the movie Airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
classic.
Yeah. Like, so how much is that in real life?
Sarcastically, all
of it.
No.
Why I bring this up was
how about the first officer?
The first officer?
Didn't you see Airplane? The first officer?
Yeah, Kareem.
When the first officer deflated, she had to go.
You're
oh yeah, I did go
the
there.
autopilot,
I went there.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. It was
that was the autopilot.
I'm sorry about that. Right. Autopilot.
Definitely a
that
classic.
shit was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to that movie, but why I'd like to bring this question up was this is like how much of plane movies, like airline movies and stuff that we watching out there in the world, and people believe like that's like reality. Like how many of these plane movies that we're out there seeing, we're like, that shit ain't true.
Right. Yeah, right. No. I mean, it almost ruins it, doesn't it?
Right.
My wife won't go to an aviation movie with me because she goes, "Oh, you just ruin it all the time." Because I go,
that's like true. Snakes on the plane, right?
Yeah, come on. Well, I mean, like they have all these like crazy things, like the guy's like taking over the plane and he's like terrorizing the whole plane the entire flight, but you don't know who it is and things like. No.
Held onto the wheel well, went up through the belly, came up through the bottom of it, found a way into the plane, saved everybody. Yeah, no, it's a little bit.
You guys
freezing your ass off getting into the wheel well.
Yeah. How about going back to Airplane? I think my favorite part was, do you remember going to LAX?
Yeah.
A long time ago, early in your career, and the white zone is for loading and unloading. And that one just like cracked me up because I'm like, spot on.
It's like, yeah, there's those classic, like, you're just like, there's funny, like the like scenarios and situations that like attribute to all these different situations that we're like, that we can totally relate to. But sometimes I'm afraid that like what the public really believes, fake airline theories or whatever, whatever you want to call it, information.
Oh, it's just there. Like that.
Yeah. Like every plane has this, on it. And you're like, no. So anyways, hey, so we want to do we want to talk about those. We're going to do that little flash questions again.
The flash questions.
Yeah, the little hot questions here. So I got a list here. G doesn't have all the lists, so I'm just running. He
kept me out.
I cut them out. But here it is, because we're just going to do this quick. So how many pairs of aviators do you actually own?
One.
And and are they all mirrored?
No. No. Yeah.
And
that's funny.
Yeah. Do you wake up with a captain voice, or do you have a warm up? This is that fake stuff.
I'm not sure I ever warmed up to that. I just was who I was. You know?
Exactly. So true or false? Were you born with perfect posture or a slight smirk?
Slight smirk.
Slight smirk. Okay. And how many pilot watches or too many pilot watches do you have?
I have two.
I
have two, and one I inherited.
Oh, that's cool.
And then one that I bought.
Yeah.
And there's no batteries in either of them at this point. They're both dead. So,
all right. Wow. Yeah. Well, you know, everything's went digital now. So like this pilot watches.
Well, it's funny you say that because I remember as a new guy,
right?
You know, sitting back there and some captain showed up with a typical aviation pilot watch and he's bragging to everybody about it. And, you know, it cost more than I made in the first year. And so he's sitting there and I go, well, I held up my Casio and I go, well, does it do this? And he goes, no. And I said, well, can it do this? And he goes, no.
And then it's got a light on it too.
Like,
yeah. Technology changes.
The little Casio light.
So do you say Roger that in real life conversations just because you can?
You're so lame. Roger that.
Roger that. Yeah. I knew that was coming.
That was a softball.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah. And so ever secretly judge another pilot walking down the tarmac?
I judge Chris all the time.
On walkarounds. We'll comment sometimes where we watch certain guys.
That's hilarious. Okay. What's more important, flight manual or a perfect leather jacket?
Flight manual. You're killing me.
I don't know. You know, just like you just gotta know. I don't know what these answers are, but if your life had a theme song when you stepped into the cockpit, what would it be?
Oh my goodness.
He just threw that one out there, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've never even thought of that. I mean, you'd have to give me a couple minutes to come up with that.
Yeah.
I was right away. I'm moving on up.
Moving on up. Doing the George Jefferson.
Yeah.
You got it.
And then, you know how old we are because we knew exactly what that was.
Yeah, we just lost half our listeners for sure. Yeah, anyways, hey, we wanted to wrap up with a little bit of current events that actually ties into what we were talking about. Like, so there was an airline that just happened to have a rabbit sucked up into the engine on takeoff. I mean, that's some crazy shit right there.
It is.
I mean, we hit birds and all kinds of stuff, but I've never heard of a rabbit. Have you heard of anything else like that? A different type of animal hitting the plane?
Coyote and deer. You know, I've heard
hitting the engines.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, they had the Southwest, the guy on the runway they hit. You know,
right?
You remember that? But rabbit.
They're going to talk about this one.
Must have been a big rabbit.
I mean, we watched that video. They're going to definitely talk about this one.
Well, you know where that was, right? And
which one are you talking about?
The rabbit.
The rabbit, yeah.
Yeah, you see those.
That happened in Denver.
Right. The jackrabbits are big.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah. They're not a lot. I mean, they can give a goose a run. Like, I mean, they can be really big. But
it always reminds me of the Monty Python. It's just a rabbit.
It's just a rabbit.
He ain't no rabbit no more.
There he is.
Yeah, there he was.
Definitely not good.
There he goes.
That Mighty Python. That's awesome.
That's bad.
So anyways, I also wanted to talk about so there's an airline out there that's getting ready right now change its boarding procedure. Like in our career, how many times? I mean, we get asked this all the time. Like, why do you do this? Why do you board like this? And we've changed boarding procedures. Like, it seems like 100 times. How do you feel about that?
People are going to do what they want to do anyway. I think you're in trouble if that's like going to save you as an airline.
Right.
You know, we're gonna get away what made us who we are, and then change it to this pre-assigned.
Yeah, you figure out this solution of the how you run your business and everything, and it's working. And then all of a sudden you come along and say, hey, you know what? let's change this to this today.
Yeah, you would think that there were more underlying problems than that.
Okay, well, let me just jump in on this for a second, though. Even with our airline, if you really wanted to make a boarding process work, take a group of flight attendants, take a group of gate agents, put them together for a week, let them come up with a boarding process, and you go ahead and put it side by side to yours, and I guarantee it's going to be 10 times better because they never ever go to the flight attendants or the gate agents together to come up with a boarding process. And you know that all the years I've been flying, not one time.
Yeah.
Not one time.
Because
and if they did, we would have a boarding process that would actually really works for the airlines, would work for the business class people. But see, the problem is what you do is that you give it to these little people that graduated from college in a cubicle that have no idea how to board an airplane because all they did is they took a survey, they put it out to people, they allowed that survey dictate how the boarding process begins and how it starts and how it ends.
Yeah,
and that's why we have a mess.
But here's the bottom line to that what you're saying is that, these companies are ran by marketing, and that's the problem. It's that these marketing procedures and stuff come up with these great ideas. Hey, let's do this because we're trying to sell this product this way. And they let the customers in today's world, they're letting the customer try to dictate how we're running our business.
That's my point. It's a survey.
I understand. So it's like, you can't let, it's not just the company. It's this theory of like running your company through marketing information, and that shouldn't be happening.
But that's still your company.
So our biggest, people that buy tickets on our planes, right, are trying to dictate how they want the plane boarded, and which is bullshit.
But right? Hey, listen, on a lighter note, Plucky's home. Plucky got home, Sean.
Plucky the parrot just got home from Panama. What was it? She was in Panama, right? Or something like that?
She was, yeah, I think so.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
She was stuck with Maria. You don't know about Plucky, did you?
No.
John didn't know about Plucky.
So there was this lady, we could talk about this. It's been in the news for a bit, but this elderly lady got stuck down in Dominican Republic, and she flew down with the parrot. And when she was getting ready to board to come back, they denied her boarding, said she didn't check the parrot right. So she was literally stuck in that country because they wouldn't. But evidently, the end of the story is she's finally got home.
Nice. Did they have to put a little vest on it?
Plucky's back.
Yeah, Plucky's back in the.
Plucky is back. So we're going to end with our inspirational quote. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Exactly. You can't let life just like guide you. You got to like go out there and make it happen.
Make it happen every single day, man. We are having a lot of fun. Had a great time with John the pilot. See what I love about this? John the pilot is going to be our section now because we're going to invite him back a lot when he will give the pilot's perspective. Because he might have had to retire at 65, but his ass will be back here talking about being a pilot. John the pilot.
Right. All right. Thanks, John, for being on the show. We really appreciate you coming
back. You guys, like I said, I can't say enough. You two guys are just some of my favorite people in the whole world.
Good.
And always that. People always say, "Do you miss it?" And I go, "The only thing I miss is the people."
Well, you're not going to miss it anymore because we got John the pilot coming back.
John the pilot coming back as our.
Shout out Chris. Maybe we can get him to come sometime.
Get Chris's ass back. Get your ass in here. Lazy ass. Anyway, all right, guys. Listen, it was a great week. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time on Cabin Pressure.
See ya. If you laughed, learned something, or just feel a little bit better about your own job after hearing about ours, do us a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your weirdest coworker. You know the one. Hit us up on Facebook. Drop your wildest airport stories. We just might read them on air. Bonus points if you involve questionable clothing decisions. Until next time, stay strapped in, stay hydrated, and for the love of TSA, keep your clothes on in the terminal.